have first boot flop in your name.
Oh my god, I do. That's how it starts. Welcome back, everyone, to the next episode of A Conversation with Kely. We were already on earlier for Ascendance, and we're back. What are we talking about now, Allie?
Today, or right now, we are talking about this past week, Survivor.
Yes, very excited to be on here. Also very excited to have a guest on. We've been trying to get this person on for God knows how long now. We tried to get him on for The Circle. It just didn't work out. I think we were going to have him on for Big Brother at one point. That didn't work out either. He's finally here. Here he is, the one and only. You love him. Some people love him. Some people hate him. Either way, he's here. Here he is, Liv. Is he here? Oh.
Hey, I appreciate the applause. Hi, guys. What?
I love that.
Okay.
I love the intro.
I love that so much.
Yes, we're very happy to have you on. We were literally just talking about how we were going to have you on for The Circle, but that season turned out to be kind of a dud. So, like... Yeah.
Listen... I have never fallen asleep so much during a reality TV season, and like I've watched, I've binge watched the Survivor Dark Ages. Like, I've never fallen asleep so much.
I mean, I don't blame you. That season was kind of rough, but you know what? You literally have Survivor in your name, so like I feel like it would be a disservice to not have you on. Before we do start things out, though, just give us a little bit of what are you thinking of this season so far? How are you feeling about Survivor 41 as a whole?
I mean, this season is absolutely a new era. I'm loving the casting. The cinematography is great. As someone who has done photo video work, seeing the crew more, both like on the social media for Survivor and like sometimes during the episode themselves, is really fucking rad, especially when a lot of these camera people and crew people and like Joe is like one of their main like doctors. Like a lot of these people are very much unsung parts of the production, so it's really nice to see them around more. I think overall the season's been a mixed bag. I think it's for the most part, it's good, but then we have the extremes like last episode versus what we're going to talk about with this episode. They're two very different episodes, but they're of the same show, and I don't know. Like, I'm curious to, like, what I'm the most curious about this season is, like, years from now during a future one when we, like, have to revisit this, and we're like, okay, that was an interesting season, but I'm really enjoying it watching live so far.
Yeah, it's interesting that we bring up this episode because, you know, last week we were mainly ranting about how, like, oh, there's too many advantages and it's just not very exciting to watch. And here it's like they strip back all of that. This is actually a damn good season. And for me, this was like a really thrilling episode to watch. There was a lot of interesting gameplay going on here. And something I especially loved about this episode is I felt like everyone had something to do. Everyone played some sort of vital part in this episode. And that was really great to see. Even someone like Heather, who we've been joking all season, is like, who's Heather, finally had something to do here. So it just felt like a very fulfilling episode. What?
Yeah, she's been kind of just like not really there much.
Yeah.
Literally
the funniest thing with Heather is it's like Heather's from South Carolina, so I'm like
for
her. But like when I was doing a lot of like my draft pick teams, I was like, I feel like one of our older women on this cast is gonna do well, and I picked Tiffany out of the two to do well. So I'm just like, from the beginning, I was just like, so when Heather was basically purpled, I was like, okay, I guess I made the right choice. But now we're starting to see more Heather content this episode, so that's promising.
Yeah, definitely. But let's just get into this episode because there's a lot to really get into here. So for a change, Allie's actually going to start off with reading the notes. So go right ahead.
All right. So this for the Uwa tribe. Genie is unsure who she should be trusting and had no idea Brad was going and feels she very much is on the bottom now. She tells them to fend for themselves since she's been the one feeding them and she refuses to take care of them.
Which was so funny to watch when she's like, I feed you, I do everything. You guys do it yourselves. I'm not doing anything. That was great.
It was.
Genie is just so funny. I'm really enjoying Genie. I know like one thing that we've seen like season after season is the whole like Asian curse. Like most Asian players, unfortunately, have like pre-merged. So I'm really hoping we get more out of Genie because Genie is just so funny. I think Genie does show a lot of capacity to be like good at the game, and just like this whole moment just shows like how big surviving is on this season. Like it is such a big thing, and it forces the players to where like that does matter, but also the crazy twists matter this season. So it's such a weird balance between like old and new, and like this is the new.
Oh
Yeah, with Genie, I think, I mean, I'll say it more later on, but I think what she really needs to do is stop fixating on the fact that, like, people have lied to her and just try to move forward. Because I think if she's able to do that, she'll actually gain some connections. But if she keeps dwelling on things that have happened in previous rounds, not going to go well for her. But we'll have to see what happens.
Shan goes ahead and tells her that Brad had an advantage she didn't know about, and only told her about his steal vote and wasn't planning to take her anywhere.
And Shan just like Queen of Chaos. Like, I love it.
She is. I love her so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like Shan is so good, and Shan's killing it. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, I don't know. Shan seems too obvious, but like I just, as much as we see out of Shan, whether Shan's the winner or some robbed runner-up or like goes early is the merge boot. Like I just am loving everything we've seen from Shan so far. Like every single episode, I think she's been like a highlight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially this episode. Especially this episode.
And it's like I think the thing is Shan has been a highlight for the most part of like every single episode, but it's not like a Russell type thing where like it's someone that's getting a lot of confessional time where they're getting like all the confessionals. Like I don't think Shan's been too lopsided. It's just been like what we're getting from her has been really high quality.
Yeah, definitely. I think overall Shan's just been killing it throughout the entire season, and especially in terms of her confessionals and also just the way she's playing the game. This episode really shows us like the potential that Shan really has overall.
Yeah, she's definitely like setting herself up well, like to make it really close to the end, or make it to the end.
Yes.
Probably the only worry I have about her, which I guess we'll get into this later with the amount of people they have left, but like just the fact like her tribe just keeps dwindling, and it's like who's the member of that tribe you throw under the bus if you have to throw someone.
Right. Yeah.
Probably like, that's the type of thing where I feel good about Genie, because I don't think Genie I think Genie's very easily able to fit herself in with another group.
Yeah, I think so too.
JD is annoyed that Shan acted upset with him, and then he didn't tell about his advantage when in reality she knew about one and neglected to tell him. And he feels despite all of this, she still does trust him.
JD is just so dumb throughout this entire episode, and I have to say, I've been enjoying JD a lot. He's a really fun character. Good at the game, though. I wouldn't say so. I really would not say so.
Yeah, I think JD and Brad are both in the same vein, somewhat, where it's like they're very interesting characters to watch. Brad was such a good pre-jury character. I wish JD would have gotten a little bit further. But I think the funniest thing was I just rewatched it too, and the juxtaposition between Shan's tone of voice when she's talking about giving him back his thing, and she's like, okay, I'll give it to you, I'll give it back to you, and then it goes to JD's confessional where he's like, I really feel like her giving it back to me shows trust. I'm like, did you listen to Shan's tone of voice? Because I heard it, JD. You were sitting right there. She did not sound like she trusted you.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about last week how JD giving her his advantage was going to fuck him over. But I think we really see the brunt of that this week. Just not a very good showing for him at all this week. Entertaining to watch, but I think we can safely say he's not good at Survivor after this episode.
He's very entertaining. He's just really... Oh my god, he was so messy.
Yeah.
And then we get into a reward challenge.
Yes.
It ends in the first loss of Luvu and Yasuo winning.
Which was such a good moment when Yasuo won.
Yeah, it was.
And yeah, Luvu actually lost a challenge here. And I thought what was going to happen, I think we'll all agree, like, I thought Luvu was going to go to tribal this episode. I thought this was going to be like a sign of like what was going to happen later on. So I like seeing Luvu not in a great position, seeing them vulnerable. We get some really interesting content from them as a result.
Heather is very distraught in them losing, and Jeff and the rest of her tribe, do their best to cheer her up and assure her it was only a rewards challenge. And while she does seem upset, it ultimately motivates her to continue playing.
Which was great. I really like this a lot. I feel like Danny is such a good like team player. Like he's really someone that yes, obviously he wants to play hard, but he really does care about his team. I saw a lot of people say this, like the reason he is like a quarterback is not just because of the fact that he's good at what he does. It's because he's a loyal guy. He's someone that, will turn to like his weaker teammates and he'll try to motivate them. He's not going to turn on them. He's not going to talk down to them. He's going to try to motivate them as much as he can. And I just really like getting to see him like trying to help her through this. He could tell it was difficult for Heather, and I really like the way he handled that overall.
Like with that moment, I'm not sure if I like it yet. I think like based on if I like it is going to be like what we get from Heather moving forward, because like, we've seen so little. It's so hard for me to be like, oh yeah, I care about Heather, that much. It's like when Sari crossed the beam, it's like, I know who Sari is. I know what Sari's done. Like,
right.
I care about that. But with Heather, I'm just like, I don't know. So I want to see Heather get some sort of like David Wright type thing where she like gets into it and is like good at some of these things by the time she's booted or wherever she goes for this season. I don't think she's gonna win. Like I think it's a bold prediction, but like I want to see where her story goes from there. Now that we got this story beat, if next episode we go right back to Purple Heather and like for the good bit for the rest we go back to Purple Heather, I'm probably, especially when I eventually re-binge the season, I'm probably going to feel really weird about her moment at the challenge. I'm just like, okay, I'm glad I know that one thing about Heather, that she sucked at that one challenge.
If I can be honest, the fact that they were starting to show more Heather, it really made me worried. It was like, oh no, this could be Heather's time. Like, this could be all we see of her. So I was really worried that Heather was like gonna go in this episode. But yeah, I agree.
I would have not liked it. I would have not liked it if it would have been the new episode. Like I would have felt even more weird about it.
I agree with you.
I can see Heather being kind of like a dark horse, maybe later on.
Oh yeah, I think that I hope that's where they're leading. I hope it's not like they're showing more of Heather because she's gonna leave soon.
Yeah, like we've not seen any negative content from Heather, so even if Heather can't really pick it up too much challenge-wise, like I think Heather could definitely be someone, maybe, if she makes merge, she's someone where people are like, I'm not scared of her immunity-wise and I like her. So, we may see that from her depending on how things go.
She's very vanilla, I think is what we're trying to say. She's very vanilla right now.
And we're hoping that
yeah, I want to see where her head's at in terms of like gameplay, because we don't really get to see that either in this episode, which kind of sucked. But we do get this one moment with Yasa. This is all we get of Yasa. You ready for all the Yasa content in this episode? They celebrate that they won a reward challenge, and we get this speech with Evvie, which I really like. She kind of like recaps their entire journey, which I'm like, you know what? Just give Evvie like the recapping job. Like, you have the previously on Survivor, previously on Big Brother. Just give it to Evvie. Like, she's good at it. She breaks it down very well. She compares like their struggle to like a turtle that never gave up. Boom, that's all we get of Yasa. Great content, right? Not a lot going on there.
It like I definitely like I love it when they experiment with the editing. I think Edge of Extinction was the first season where they did that whole like we're gonna mention that someone has the idol and then go back to it being found thing, where they did the whole reverse trick. That was really cool. Now we're getting more stuff like this where it's like, okay, we've done away with recaps, but now you're getting a recap. It's edited like a recap.
Yeah, that was cool.
By a player halfway through the episode. I'm like, this is fun. It's like with reality TV shows, like to keep people coming back, you have to have some sort of formula, but as much as Survivor can kind of break the formula, I think it's really nice because despite all the twists of the 30s, like a lot of those seasons, all the way down to like when swaps happened, were so formulaic.
Mhm.
And this season, editing wise and so far format wise, has done so much to like shake things up, both as a viewer and when it comes to the players. And so that little moment of Yaza, it's like, oh yeah, like we have 3 tribes. We're not going to focus on these guys too much, but here's a nice little moment, a nice little editing trick, and we're out of here. It works.
Yeah, no, that was good because like they could have easily just like not really shown too much from them because we know what they're doing.
It didn't feel like any of them were under edited.
No,
but they were, they weren't really there, but they didn't need to be.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the players are also like really helping them. Like they're having fun with the players, just giving them all the possible content. Mm-hmm. They know what to do in terms of the editing, and it's great. I love the way that played out. With UA, we get a little bit more. They get advice from this guy named Nathan, who I guess he was part of like their reward challenge. I was a little confused as to like what was going on here, what he was really doing, but he kind of gives them like a confidence boost of sorts. So we see that. But the thing that's most important here is that we do actually find out that this is not one-sided. Ricard very much does want Genie out. He does not trust her. He does not feel that she's really on his side. So he really wants to get Genie out of here. And I thought this was a really great moment because, we saw the tribal last episode. We were like, is Genie, like, is she right about this? Is she being led down a bad path? No, Ricard just like wants her out of here. So yeah, I like what we end up getting there. What do you guys think of the UA stuff? Not before the tribal, obviously.
I think that like this reward challenge was so nice because it was like our first reward challenge of the season. The rewards were small. It wasn't like these massive like mountains of nachos or like this giant coffee set or like
it was just like fish. It was literally just fish.
It was like a fish or like the whole expertise guy. Like I think they've done similar things like this before where they've had like locals related to where they are like help with stuff like that. I can't remember specific seasons, but I think it's happened at least once before. So it was interesting to see that again because I think one of the big things about them being in Fiji is like we haven't seen that much from Fiji as a place. Like I think the last time we saw something really strictly in Fiji, which I really liked, was the Ghost Island scene where Wendell, Dom, and Laurel, I think, help like give the school stuff to the children. Like that was the last time they really interacted with like, oh yeah, we're in Fiji. So it's nice to see some Fijian culture somehow make its way into the season. With the whole Ricard Genie thing, like Ricard's one of my favorites. He was a preseason favorite for me. I'm just worried because I feel like he is so quick to be in a rivalry with JD, with Genie. Like,
oh yeah,
like you're gonna have like King, you're gonna have to play nice, especially when y'all merge because you're gonna be down in numbers or however the swap happens and how it happens. Like, I'm worried that people aren't going to trust him because I don't think he's done a very good job outside of like Shan of like putting himself out there as a trustworthy person. So he's just.
I also feel like he just gets really. I feel like his other big weakness, and I think you guys will agree, he gets bored like so easily. Like if they're not necessarily like strategizing really hard, like he wants to do something to like cause fights, and I feel like that's really gonna fuck him over, especially with the way that Shan's playing right now. I feel like the difference, and people are saying, "Oh, Ricard has a better shot than Shan." I actually disagree. I feel like Shan is doing a good job of being a villain, but people not being able to tell that she's a villain in that way, and she's very loyal and she cares about her people. I feel like Ricard is very game body, and he's someone that he wants to be this agent of chaos. He wants to get into fights with people, and I do not think that's gonna benefit him at the end. So while I do see him making it to merge, I don't think he's making it very far into merge. So that's how I feel about Ricard.
And if he does, I could totally see Ricard being a losing finalist.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. He has pissed a lot of people off already.
I think everything that we've seen both in and out of the game, he seems extremely well spoken. But if you piss the if you piss certain people off, that's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter what you say at the end.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He's just like pissing a lot of people.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we do get a little bit from the Luvu tribe. We get some actual strategy from them in this episode. So Ellie, talk about it a little bit.
All right. Erika is getting antsy about not going to tribal. She is playing innocent right now, but wants to start turning on others. And it seems she is very much not trusting how confident Sydney is.
And I'm like, yes, this is why I drafted you, Erika.
I'm here for that because Sydney's the only one I don't like.
Oh yeah, I can't stand Sydney really at all. I haven't liked anything we've seen of her, but especially after this episode, she's just really rubbing me the wrong way. I feel like she's
savvy, I'm good looking, I'm amazing at the game, I'm the best revolver player. Did I mention I'm hot? I'm smart.
I mean, look, you do the same thing, Livingston, but there's an irony when you do it. There's not an irony when she does it. She's very
because you hate me, Kevin.
She's very sincere about it. I feel like she wants this villain edited, but she fails to forget that in order to be a villain, we have to like you. There's nothing to like about her right now. She's just annoying. I can't stand her.
She reminds me of pre-season Angelina from David vs. Goliath. I originally didn't like Angelina because her whole promo thing, where her whole promo line was I've had this dream life. I went to the perfect school, yada. And it has the same energy of being I'm savvy, I'm good at the game, and all that stuff. But it's Angelina, when you actually watch the season, got fleshed out a lot more. And I don't know that we've gotten anything from Sydney except she just seems very cocky. I don't know that she's super self-aware. She seems like she wants to be a villain, but she's not aware of what she has to do to be a good villain. Where it's Deshawn is someone where pre-season he talked about in confessionals where he's I will be villainous in the confessional, but I will be, I will not do that to people. And I think Sydney is just doing it both ways because she's I want to be the silly villain on TV.
Yeah.
Hi, Sean.
That's the difference. Liv actually has fans. I don't think Sydney has so yeah. We'll get to those in a little bit, but not a fan of what Sydney's doing at all here. But what else is going on?
Meanwhile, Deshawn seems to be getting closer with Sydney and sets his sights on targeting Erika despite Naseer saying Sydney's name, which I did not get this at all.
Just why? Why are you wanting to target Erika, someone that has been relatively quiet, has not really been causing much shit, and he also forgets that Sydney did go off to that island and probably has some sort of advantage. So
Yeah, everyone's just getting so antsy. It's the effect when you go too long without going to tribal, so all your tribe members are just bouncing around. Everyone's getting antsy. I really hope we see tribal next episode for these guys.
Me too.
I need to see it.
I want to see that whole tribe just scramble. I feel like they're all about to turn on each other, and I want to see it.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Danny and Deshawn talk, and it seems like Deshawn wants to throw the challenge to get them to tribal where they will vote out Erika.
What you guys think about this?
I did not like that because it made no sense for his game.
No, I get it. They want to go to tribal, but what were you gonna say?
I don't even know that it's effective because if you're gonna do the risk of it throwing, they only know that they have 3 votes, and Danny doesn't want to throw anyways. So to get Erika out, they need at least 4, but then there's also shot in the dark if because they have them 2 and Sydney, but to try and get the more other votes, they're gonna have to try and get more people. Erika could play or die. It just seems nothing about the plan it makes a whole lot of sense. It could work, but it also seems way too risky when you can just be let's just not go to tribal. Let's just try in the challenge and win we've been doing.
Yeah, and I don't really understand why he wants to target Erika so badly. I said, I feel like Sydney has been more vocal. She's been very outspoken in a way where Erika has been playing a seemingly very under the radar game. People don't really know what she's doing,
she's
but I don't feel
very...
like she's ruffled any feathers, whereas Sydney has.
I think
so
that's
I don't
why he's
understand
like, I think that's why he feels like sketched out about it. But like,
I guess,
I get that, but like, I don't see why that's worth sabotaging your own tribe when there's so much game left in terms of like tribals. Like, you're gonna have another chance to take Erika out, I assure you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I honestly feel like Deshawn might have fucked himself over just by bringing this up if they ever go to tribal.
He could be afraid. He could be afraid of like the quiet players.
Oh yeah.
And then getting into the immunity challenge, we don't have a ton of notes, but Lulu is not successful in throwing and wins immunity with Yasa also winning, which means Ua will be heading back to tribal.
And just the look on Deshawn's face when like Naseer was like actually trying to like win that challenge. He's like, I think he said something to the effect of like, "I'm glad you won that challenge, but not right now." I'm like, why? Challenges. He's someone that is gonna be there for you when you need someone to like win a challenge. Like, I don't understand why he was like so adamant about them. Oh, we gotta throw this. Like, I didn't get it at all. But so that was really funny to me. And then also in Ua, I love Shan's line where she basically said, like, JD's like, I'm winning this, and she's like, no, you should have just said we're going to tribal. I thought that was great too. And I think that's another big flaw of JD's game. He has really overestimated his comp abilities, and he has not lived up to it very much at all here. Exactly. So
definitely. It's like overall, he's just been so eager to take on every single part of the Survivor experience, and like, I think at this point you can project that a little bit because most people that get on are like pretty big fans, but like, you still can't do it that much, especially when you're not gonna like live up to it. Like it just like it makes you look very bad, especially when you can't pull out a win like that when you put yourself in like a hero type spot for your tribe.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say he's too cocky. I think he's just really like overestimated.
Really
he wants
eager.
To be that like hero of the tribe, and he's just not. Like, that's just not his role. And I feel like at this point in the game, like, know your role, know what you benefit the tribe for. Like, Shan, for example, is a great social player. I feel like Ricard's like a really good strategic player. You know, I feel like I feel like Ricard's also really good at winning immunities. JD's role, I'm not really sure. I think it's because he hasn't really secured himself.
Yeah, Shan. Everyone trusts Shan, and even though she's doing a lot, so like they don't know what she's doing.
Right. Which is a testament to her social game. And then Genie, I feel like, is someone that is just able to be very under the radar and get people back on her good side. Like, she's kind of like the underdog of the tribe. Whereas JD, like I said, he wants to be like the person that's going to win them immunities, but that's just not his role. So I think he needs to figure out what that is. I don't know when he's going to, but not working out at all. Let's get into this tribal, because this was easily the best part of this entire episode. What we get down here leading up to the tribal was so thrilling to watch. We see Genie recognizes just how tight Shan and Ricard are, and she wants to target one of them, especially after blindsiding her. She goes as far as to want to throw the die out this round, and she wants JD to vote out Ricard. He tells her that they're in the same spot and it could be either of them. What'd you guys think of this? Was this a good move for Genie to want to target one of them?
I mean, yes and no. Like, obviously, like, they did blindside her, but it could be good for her game, but it could maybe yes and no in a way.
Like probably one of the things I'm unsure about is the way the episode gives it to us. She's very obviously in on JD going. So I want I know she wants to separate those two, but I don't know that this negatively affects her because she can always sell it as oh, I was just doing this so that we make sure the plan happens. So, like, I'm not sure how much of it was that, whether we'll get that answer next episode or, like, how we'll see things, because they always leave us out of a little bit of info at least going in a tribal, so. I definitely don't know. Like, we definitely didn't enter tribal knowing, like, oh yeah, this is what Genie's doing aside from that content. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, that is true. We don't know if she was trying to like throw the scent off of JD by thinking she's going for like Shan or Ricard, or if she was generally targeting them. Because I'll be honest, if she was generally targeting them, I don't think that was the right move for her, because she needs to just again move past what happened. It doesn't really matter at that point. Yes, Brad was blindsided, but does it really concern you? No, because Brad's not there anymore. And I feel like you can easily get in with like a Ricard or a Shan. And I feel like if she has the tools to get in there, she just needs to not fixate so much on, you know, wanting to go for one of them. So if she was trying to get out JD, job well done. I'm just not sure if that's really the case. Meanwhile, JD is again being really fucking dumb because he's actually lying to
oh god,
because he wants her to not use the die and instead wants to vote her out. At this point, I just have no idea what's even going through his head. But basically,
he's
Ricard. What?
He's just being too confident.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's the mess.
Yeah, so he does tell Ricard how much he trusts him and Shan and how much he needs both of them. And Shan gets word of this from Genie. She immediately like pushes hard for JD to go, especially since Ricard has been her number one. Now, originally she wants to trick her into thinking JD's the target so they can blindside Genie. She also feels that Genie could team up with JD with him having the extra vote. So again, I mean, this really is just testament to how good Shan is playing the game. She's really thinking about every possible scenario that could go down at Tribal and found a way to put herself in the best possible position.
This is literally correct.
I mean, especially this move. Like, this is the kind of early game move that I feel like is going to get you to the end, because this is something you can be like, well, actually, this is why I did this. And people will be like really impressed by that because they don't think Shan is doing all of this work. I feel like, you know, Ricard's going to be in a position where he's going to get a lot of credit, but I feel like Shan is setting herself up really well to where she is going to get that credit in the end. And I think she's doing a good job with that here, but also not get too much credit for. Like early on, I don't think she's going to get caught. I hear some people say she's going to, but I don't see it happening with how well she's been playing so far. But we'll have to see, of course, but I don't see it happening. So JD, basically, she tries to convince him for her to keep his idol and to use his extra vote, which again are terrible moves for him. Like, why would you do this ever? So she really wants to get his advantage and make sure that they can get Genie out, and he's like freaking out. He has no idea why she's so paranoid. He isn't sure if giving up his advantage to her is a good idea. So again, he knows like not to do it, but as you alluded to earlier, for some reason he feels that this is going to win her trust back, and basically he kind of fears that like he's not really with her. So like yeah, this was very interesting the way all of this plays out.
Yeah, like I don't know what he was thinking, especially because like he'll say things like, I don't want to be like the next person to like make a mistake and like hold the game back. And I'm like, I a lot of it's just eagerness and like youthfulness, but like I still like, I just don't understand how you can say that and it not cross through your head like, oh, this is what I'm doing. I don't understand that.
Yeah, no, I don't understand. And my thing that's really frustrating is like he knows this is a bad move. He says it repeatedly, like I should not be doing this, and yet he does it anyway. I just feel like he wants to appease these people too much, and I feel like that really fucks him over. And I think it stems back to what you said, Liv. Like he wants to play every single possible facet of Survivor when he needed to narrow it down to one, and he just never did. And I think that's what really hurt him, is that he never stepped back and said, what kind of game do I really want to play? What do I really want to do? Do I want to be loyal? Do I want to be messy? Do I want to be a comp threat? He tried to be all of them, and I think that's why he set himself up. He set himself up for his downfall here. So. But we then get even more, I think, geniusness from Shan, where basically she's in shock that this actually worked. She knows that she has a power in her pocket, but now she actually wants to keep the extra vote to herself and actually vote out JD with Genie. So she's unsure if she really wants to make this move, especially with how close they become. But she knows she has to be an assassin. We do get to see her singing that amazing, villain song again, which I love every time she does that. It is like that so alone makes me feel like she's getting far in this game, just based on the fact that they keep harping on it so much. I saw a lot of people on Twitter, very conflicted over whether this was the right move. Do you guys feel this was a good move for her to target JD now, or should she have waited?
I don't know.
Yes, it depends.
I think she would have. I think she would have had JD. I think the only big blowback would be like, oh yeah, is JD gonna call me out on the way out? But at the same time, it's between only it's in front of only 2 other people because of how small your tribe's gotten. So I don't know. I guess it just depends.
Well, I think personally. Yeah, I think personally, it doesn't really matter who she targets here as long as it's not Ricard. Yeah. Because, Genie isn't targeting her. She's only targeting Ricard. She doesn't want Shan out. She wants Ricard out because that's, she wants Ricard out because they're beefing. She never explicitly said, I want Shan out. She said, I know these 2 are tight, so I want to go for Ricard. That's what she said. So I actually don't think it mattered, honestly, who Shan ended up targeting, because as long as it's not Ricard, she's kind of fine at this point. So I honestly don't think it was a very bad move at all. But we do get to the tribal here, where Genie talks about how she's basically playing from the bottom of the tribe and thought that they would win the immunity challenge. They all agree this is a big turning point for their tribe overall. Jeff brings up how the vote could be tied, but Genie doesn't really believe it since everyone wants to target her, and JD warns her that she's going to lose her vote if she plays her shot. He hopes that they all stick to the plan. Genie says that she probably won't make her decision until she's in there. I thought she was going to play it. I did. I thought she was playing it. And I'm waiting for it to happen. We haven't had anyone play their die yet. I thought it was going to go down in this episode, but I guess she felt confident enough to not do it. But basically, Jeff then brings up how the vote could... Oh, I already read that. So JD says that him and Ricard all felt like they had to do some scrambling and nobody really wants to go home. And Genie brings up just how much she's going to miss her entire tribe and how much they've all bonded, which I feel like that really is what kind of saved her. She played up that mother type role that she's been to her tribe. And I think that reminded them just how valuable Genie really is. So I think she did a good job in really sort of bringing that up. So the vote goes down, and it's really not surprising based on just how he's played all game. 3-1, JD is the next person eliminated from Survivor 41. He seems in shock, but not as shocked as we were, because Julia Rowe, oh my God, Julia here completely jinxed him after talking about last week, how he is going to be the runner-up of the season. He's going to do so great. Well, look at him now. I don't think he's going to be the runner-up. So I blame Julia for this. No, this was legitimately a great move from Shan. What were you going to say, Liv?
I was just saying, I was really hoping for more from JD. Preseason, a lot of people were counting him out for his age, but I was I really hope. A lot of his preseason stuff was promising, and I was I really hope he hits the beach and he doesn't do too much, but we just saw him do too much. We still have one other we have 2 other really young players still in that I think are going to do better.
We do.
Yeah.
So that's at least promising. He wasn't the only one, but definitely sad to see JD go, especially because he did give some content. Despite it being surrounding very questionable game decisions.
Yeah, he was in my top 4 with Shan, Liana, and Evvie.
Yeah, I will say I don't think he was always playing a bad game. I think the first week he did a lot of very good work with getting the vote off of him and pushing it onto Sara. I think that was a really good move. I think what really hurt him in this game is just being way too loyal. Is two things. One, he was way too loyal to Shan. I think he really overestimated just how good he was with her. He always wanted to be on her good side when I think he kind of didn't need her in the game. Like, I think he probably would have benefited more from working with a Genie or working with a Brad. I think that probably would have benefited him more than working with someone like Shan, who just kind of has everyone wrapped around her finger at this point. I think that would have just benefited more too. He completely just overestimated his comp abilities. He doesn't have them. He's not nearly as good as he thought he was. He wants to be like this amazing, like physical player that wins all the immunities, and he just can't do it. And like, it's fine. Like, I feel like
I think I think one of his downfalls is like one of his biggest, like, I think maybe last episode we got some of this, and this episode we got some of this, where he like lists these players that he wants to be. Like, I hear so much, like every single time like players go out there, I hear so much in the preseason that like the best thing you can do is just like go in with no plan, see who you're playing with, see what the season's looking like, work from there. But like JD was so much like, I need to be Malcolm, I need to be Ozzy, I need to be Wu, and it's just like, you can't do that. You have to just like Shan, all of her preseason stuff, and a lot of her early confessionals was like, I'm gonna get there. I'm willing to do what needs to be done, but like it wasn't like, oh, I want to be like this player. I want to play exactly like this. I want this to be my game plan. Like, I think it's good having an idea of what you're gonna do, but like you can't be like, I need to be Wu out here. I need to be the Kagyan runner up.
I mean, you can try to emulate your game after their strategy, but you can't be them. Like, that's just not how it's going to go. Like, they had, like, obviously, I haven't seen a lot of Survivor.
It's such a situational game. Like, you hit the beach, and there is 17 to 19 people who you usually have never met before, who you know nothing about, that you have to deal with, and all these people have these different motivations. Like, it's such a... And that's not even talking about the twists and everything. Like, it's so situational. It's hard to be like, this is what I'm doing, because most strategies aren't going to work with every single cast of players.
So we do say goodbye to JD here. He does talk about how he wanted to play like really ballsy, and he does respect the blind side. I don't think he recognizes how bad he really did play. I think I think now he probably does. But
watching it back,
I feel like he'll definitely be back for second chances though.
I would like to see him back. I would. I think that he
like Jeff is being so weird where he's like, oh yeah, y'all won't see returnees for a while, or y'all won't see returnees from the first like 40 seasons, and I'm like, I don't buy it. I think in a few years we'll see whatever the next big returnee season is, because we still haven't seen a lot of big players from like the 30s get a chance to come back, because all we've gotten is like an all winter season. So like JD is someone I could definitely see on some sort of second chance thing, because I know second chance has been something production has wanted to do again since the first one did so well.
I definitely could see JD coming back. I feel like he definitely has the tools, I think, to do well in the game. Again, he just needs to pit down, like, what am I going to do in this game? What kind of player am I going to be? He never really came to terms with that, and I think that's what really did hurt him overall. But again, amazing move from Shan. Like, really just flawless gameplay from her all around. The way she was able to pull this off, now has this extra vote in her pocket. I don't think she's going to need to use it at any points. I feel like she's just going to be able to, like, hold on to it and play it at a moment, and just everyone's going to be like, holy shit, like, where did this come from? So I think she's in even a better position at this point. So yeah, I mean, she's really killing it. But I mean, we got yourself in the room. When the fuck is the swap in this game? Like, does one exist? When happening?
I mean, like I've been praising the Survivor gods, because I got so tired of like, oh yeah, episode 3 is coming up, time for the swap. Because it's like, even the players are not fooled at this point. Like, when they did like a swap on episode 3 and like Survivor 31, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're swapping so quick. Now every single cast of the 30s expected it. Every single cast has been like, okay, literally the winners at Warcast were like, okay, we're swapping episode 3, 4-ish into 3 tribes. That's what's happening. And it's gotten so cookie cutter. So the fact that we're seeing that potentially like there could be a tribal of like 2 players during the pre-jury phase, like if there wasn't that one tribal where they didn't go, like that's fucking so good. It just changes things and keeps the players on their toes a lot more. And I hope we see the next thing from like 42 where like I hope 42 doesn't have a swap if we do get a swap soon. A swap exactly where this season's swap is going to be. Like, I hope they just continue the trend because, like, it's so cool the players not being able to be like, okay, we're heading to the challenge. Jeff's going to be making the announcement. Better bring your stuff. Like, to the point where players in the 30s would bring their bags on the day where they usually swap, and they would usually be right. Like, it got that bad. But I think we're probably going to see something soon. Like, there's no way they can't, like, swap into 2 tribes or something soon.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be soon.
It has to be. There's literally only 3 people left on the Uwatch tribe, so, like, they have
probably
to.
this week or next week.
And I feel like we're getting my gut tells me that we're probably getting a small merge this season, but I don't know. Like, like if there's any sort of spoilers about that, I'd stay away from them. But, like, the way we've been getting, like, 12 and 13 player merges for a while now, I think we're going to get a smaller merge here.
Yeah, I could definitely
we haven't seen a swap yet.
Yeah. Especially with it being only, like 20-something days? Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a smaller merge for sure. But like you said, it keeps everyone on their toes, which is good. And I think I want to see more of that because I'm so sick of like, the Big Brother and things like that where they're constantly planning ahead like for all the strategies and all the comps. So to actually see them like, tweak the format a little bit is honestly really refreshing. And I really enjoy that a lot. But I'm also just kind of like, when the fuck is this swap happening? Like, I thought it was announced this episode, but like,
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see outside of the summit a lot of these people interact because like the fact is like it's so hard to gauge whether what this tribe does matters or not because there's so little people on that tribe. It's just going to be like how things disperse. I think I was glad we got like a break from the summit for this episode because it was getting so tiring. But I feel like when they do swap, I feel like the summit might play into it, but I don't know how. Like I think that would be a smart thing to do, and then that'd be like the final time we see that. I don't know why they gave us the breather this episode after doing it every single one, but like I'm not complaining.
I didn't miss it. It takes up way too much of the episode, so I did not miss it.
I didn't hate it in like the premiere, but when it started being like basically similar things every single episode, it was like, okay. I don't think we need
it's
to
like protect your vote or like don't protect your vote. Like it was the same thing. If it was different choices, it's
just like I think I think I would have been less annoyed by it. Like, take that choice out of it entirely and have it just be like a summit, like just to see like players from the tribes interact. I think like even just that would have taken up less screen time. I think it would have still been fairly interesting. And if there's not that much that's interesting that happens, you just don't have to show it. Just mention who went.
Yeah.
And just be like some cross tribe thing outside the first episode. Because of course for the premiere they had to do something big for it.
Yeah.
Their big. Somewhat convoluted prisoner's dilemma.
I could see them swapping to like 2 tribes, maybe.
Yeah, I could see that. I also like moving forward. I will say I want more episodes like this. I want to see more of the strategy. I want to see more of getting to see where every tribe's head is at. We don't need to focus on these like 5,000 advantages that are like kind of just like ineffective at this point.
I think the Beware advantage is going to be such a big flop, and I really hope the Beware.
I hope so.
Like I definitely see it being like I don't know if Kevin will be familiar with this, but like the Medallion of Power was like in season 21, and it just flopped and was like not used for the rest of that season because like production realized that it was a bad idea, and it just flopped so hard, and that was season 21. So like.
Yeah.
I really hope that they saw how the Beware advantage turned out, and that I really hope that it functions differently on season 42.
Nicaragua's actually the season one of them I have to finish.
You're not missing much. But like Ko Rung had like the idols that like combine, and this is like some sort of version of that. I think at first it's funny and interesting to have Xander say some like silly phrase that challenge. But like at this point, it's just like you need 3 people to line up, and everyone's going to realize it at this point. The way like I don't think that they should lose their vote until they activate it, because I think it's punishment enough to have to say that phrase in front of everyone and explain that, especially if there's potential for you to have to do that at multiple challenges. Like, I think that's social punishment enough. I don't think the whole losing vote should happen, because the fact that like Xander could potentially become like the runner-up of the season in some surprise scenario and never cast a vote.
That'd be so funny.
What?
So funny.
That's too cracked. And I think that, I don't know, that just seems weird, but that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten the sense that Beware advantage is probably going to end once they swap or merge. At least I hope so, because I'm just kind of tired of hearing of it. But I am scared because I don't know if you guys saw the trailer for the next episode. Genie finds some sort of advantage. So, like, back to this. We'll see.
I think like the advantages having like weight to them is good, but I think like having it be too much is like makes it where you're just doing the same thing that like you were trying to mitigate. Like I think the Beware advantage for the summit was good, where it's like, oh yeah, you found this, you have to get on this boat or else you're not voting. That works. That's good. That doesn't seem like too much. It's easy. But the whole idol thing is just like, they have to say what? How many times do I have to hear this? They're never gonna vote again?
Yeah.
Like if Brad would have stayed in the game, he just never would have voted ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. So it was completely ineffective.
And we have no idea about the other one. Yeah,
we don't know who it is on Luvu, and I don't think we're ever going to find out. So
I doubt it.
Doesn't matter. But we'll have to see how things really do go moving forward. Before we do wrap things up here, Liv, I'm going to give you a chance to, plug any socials, anything like that. So go right ahead. Read some poetry, Twitter, if you will, all that stuff.
Not read some poetry. If y'all want to follow me on Twitter, it's mostly mental illness, but it is at Survivor Livy. That's Livvy. It's also my name on here. So if you have trouble spelling it, you can just look at it and read it a few times. And you can go follow me over there. It's mostly simp shit and nerding out, and sometimes I'll tweet about Survivor. I also host a Skype org that is called Prestige Survivor, so if you're ever interested in that type of thing, feel free to DM me on Twitter, because I host sometimes, and that's about it.
Yes. Prestige is a great game. I have played it. Definitely recommend it. Speaking of games, apply for Spotlight. You only have 2 weeks remaining. We've gotten some really great apps so far. It's getting down to the wire, and we would love to see some more people come in last minute. That would be amazing. Other than that, I think we're pretty much done here, Allie. I know you have to go, so we are going to wrap this up now. But that's really it for our review of this week's episode of Survivor. As always, comment down below. Let us know what you guys thought of this week's episode. Love to hear your thoughts in it. We'll see you guys in our next video, and we will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.
Bye.